ซึ่งวันนี้นะคะวิทยากรของเราเป็นชาวฝรั่งเศสนะคะก็จะเป็นการบรรยายภาคภาษาอังกฤษทั้งหมดเลยนะคะ Right now is the right time to introduce your presentations and I will give our stage for Mr. Sébastien, please.
Thank you.
ขอเสียงตบมือด้วยค่ะ
Good morning, everyone. So yeah, I'm French, so I'll spare you. I'm not going to do it in French. I'll do it in English. So welcome everyone here in the room and for all of those who are joining online. So today empowering sustainable journeys through values, strategy, and design. Oops, sorry. My face. So just to start a little bit here with some, brands that our company or I've personally been working with over the past years, both from international brands and some, you can spot, I think, some Thai companies that we've been collaborating with over the past year. So I'm going to share, some case study about a few of them in this presentation. But before that, just, how did I get into design and how did I get into sustainability? Just a quick intro about myself. So Sébastien, I'm originally born in France, like she mentioned, and I studied product design in Paris for quite a few years, but I quickly moved to Asia, actually, back in 2007. So that makes me already like half Asian, although you cannot really tell, but I'm already like half Asian. I've had around 17 years of experience in Asia, and now working as design director as in JD in Jacobins in design. So this is basically my journey into sustainability and how I got into it. So I took a one-way ticket at some point from Paris to China. I was like, okay, what was I thinking? So I landed in Beijing actually back in 2007, and I started to work with the major Chinese corporation, right? Everybody knows Lenovo, use one of their laptops. So I was actually one of the laptop designer back in the days for 4 years. And then I thought, okay, Beijing, okay, nice, Great Wall and all that, Forbidden City. It's a bit too cold, it's a bit too polluted, so let's move a bit more south. So I went to Shenzhen, it's close to Hong Kong, it's near the ocean, bit better. And then I worked for another Chinese corporation. I think it's also present here in Thailand, TCL. You might know, they do a lot of products from televisions, mostly multimedia products, but they also do, all sort of home appliances. And then I moved to Shanghai. So basically do north of China, south of China, going to the east of China. Shanghai, where this is where I started to work with JJD, the company that I'm still working on right now. So 2 years in Shanghai, and then moved to Thailand. Because it's been already at that time 9 years in China. That was enough. It's time to move somewhere nicer, Thailand, right? So and since then, it's been around 7-8 years now running the JD studio here in Bangkok in Wong. So this is why I left, basically. When I was living in Beijing, the PM 2.5, right? Beyond index, you can see like it goes from 0 to 500, and it was more than that on many days. Right? Then to Shenzhen, okay, a little bit better, but still very unhealthy. It's not nice to read something like that daily on your phone. Then back to Shanghai, okay, go back up again, and the air is hazardous. So that got me really thinking. It's like that's not normal. That's not really nice. We shouldn't be living like this, right? And this is basically some pictures back in the days I took from my apartment. I mean, not the middle one. It's not my apartment. It's from a hill. But this was actually a real photo from my apartment. A beautiful summer day of July, like 8 o'clock in the morning. Really like really thick air. And Shanghai, pretty similar. So not really nice place to breathe or even to raise a family and all that. So I was, this is a lot of questions starting to go through my head at that time. Is this really, you see all these red dots on the map. Is it really the world that we want to live in? Like where we see all these pollutions around, and it's not just China, many actually countries. I mean, today the air in Bangkok is not that nice either, right? So this is not the right way to go. We should do something about it, and everybody has responsibility about it. And then as a product designer, I was, kind of a bit of part of the problem as well. So okay, designers they are good for finding solutions. We have a problem in front of us. How do we find solutions about this together with other people, right? With company, with governments, with public and private sectors. Let's do something about it. Then that's how I joined JAD. I started to look into, okay, who is really good on the sustainability aspect? And of course, Scandinavia countries and Denmark, they are kind of the role models in this area. So when I first visited Denmark, I was like, oh, wow. The air is so crisp, so clean. The nature is so nice. It's so beautiful. It's just, the light, so you can see the sun. It's just, wow. It's incredible. So what is this country doing, doing right? And how we should learn from how they're doing things in Scandinavia and in Denmark in particular. And they are known to be, the cradle of design and sustainability leaders. I mean, if you think about it, Denmark itself is a very, very small country. There's only 6 million people in Denmark, right? That's like not even half of Bangkok population. And okay, if you include Scandinavia as a whole, it's still, it's around 27 million people, right? So Scandinavia, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, right? And yet, so such small countries, they have so many, global brands that are well known for being design-driven, for being sustainability-driven, and so many of them, right? And I think some of them, you know the name, and you don't even know, you didn't even realize, oh, actually it's a Danish brand, or it's a Swedish brand, and many of them actually, established here in Thailand. Right? So I think the first, like the left half of it is actually Danish brand, right? 6 million people, they have so many global brands. And they're really lucky, right? They don't talk about it, they don't, make a big fuss about it. They just do it. And then the rest is some from Norway and Sweden. So you think about, okay, you think about Thailand, 70 million people, and there's not really any major Thai global brands that you can think about. That's not normal. There's so many good people, many good stories, good potential. Why Thailand has difficulties to come up with, global brands. You can mention Thai Airways, but it's not really, every country has their own national airways, so that doesn't really count. Right? And why? So why is that? Why are they, so good about this? And part of it is written here. Is well, the way they organize society, right, is based on the social welfare system. That means people are taken care of, or they are helped by their government, right? So they have some freedom to try things and not risking their whole life when they do it, right? There is some big safety net of support from different institutions that, okay, you can do things, you can try things, you can fail, you can start again. So you have some sort of freedom to be able to do things without, risking your life. And there's a big sense of equality also between people. Like there's a lot of hierarchy going on in this part of the world. So that brings people on the same page. There's, okay, we forget about the relationship, about who is above, who is beyond, and it's just about, okay, we're on the same boat, let's work together to do something. And there's also a high level of trust among people, among government and people, among people and government. The level of trust, I think Denmark has been, elected the most trustworthy people for many times in a row. So that's why you can leave a baby in a stroller outside a cafe and not care about it. Nobody is going to do anything. That's why you can have a shop with no salesman and just a box to put the money on the side of the road. Nobody will steal clothes, right? This is just, okay, people trust. People trust each other. And there's also a high relation to nature. I mean, this part of the world has a kind of beautiful natural ecosystems, a lot of water, a lot of mountains, a lot of forest, and people cherish that. And there's also an appreciation for simplicity and enjoying the basic things in life, basically, and pursuing quality. Right? And when you lead a life, you want to build some quality in your life. And you want your kids to have quality in education. And the product that you use must be of good quality. So there's a pursuit of quality and value. So if we have to summarize, if we take, okay, what are the Scandinavian values? And the first one is about the honesty. And people generally are very honest between themselves, but also when they do products, when they do service, when they do anything, basically. And that's just rooted in everyone's, in this part of the world. They are authentic. They prefer to use, for example, real, genuine materials as opposite to fake or imitation. They are fair. People are fair, decent, credible, and treating everyone with the respect they deserve, and open. Everyone is enjoying a very high amount of mental freedom and really open to consider different opinions, different point of views. So that's the first one. And then caring. So considerate, striving to secure safety of others and allowing room for people's differences. We're all different. That's okay to be different, and we welcome that. Friendly, very, very informal, welcoming, a bit of sense of humor as well. And responsible, so feeling responsible for the world where we live in, our society, our family, ourselves. It's not like, okay, we don't care. We know we have, as people, as citizens, we have responsibility towards things. Just acknowledging that. And the last one is peaceful, and that's also connected to, you might say, some of the landscape over there, and there's very few people, so everything is really, really quiet and peaceful. I mean, of course, outside some of the major towns. But people appreciate the quiet beauty and the elegance in surroundings. So they have a strong sense of aesthetics, materials, and colors, and enduring, striving to give ideas and design that last. A solution that lasts, who can solve something today, but also are thought through for the future. And pretty modest, playing down successes. That's why I mentioned that many brands are Danish, and then they don't make a big fuss about it. But yeah, everybody can enjoy, their boxes of Lego, for example, right? So playing down successes. And the Danish Design Institute, actually, they summarize all of this into, okay, what is a Danish design DNA? If we base on all of this value, so if people were to create a service or to create a product based on all of those values, what does this need to encapsulate? And it comes back to some of those elements. And you can see that the human is always at the center, right? It's always at the center. So when you talk about human-centered design, in Danish design philosophy, you don't even need to mention human-centered design, because design by itself, it means the human needs to be at the center. This is like a non-brainer. It's like he has to, of course. And then it's surrounded by many other components, so social, quality, user-oriented, factual, based on facts, simple and durable. There's a sense of craftsmanship. I think Danish design has a big history into furniture making and upholstery. So there's a big sense of craftsmanship, collaborative, right? So working with other people's ideas, and holistic. So not thinking about some very narrow task, but just stepping back and looking at the big pictures as well as the small details. So that brought me back to GDD. Okay, I love those Scandinavian values. I love those Danish values. And there's a company that actually are working alongside all of these values and principles, and that's GDD, right? So this is how I decided to join this company about 10 years ago. And sorry, I'll go back to that. So this is the founder of the company. It's called Jensen. Obviously, the names come from him. And he was the first Dane, to be trained as an industrial designer. And that kind of shaped the thinking of the company. Everybody at that time was, it was a Danish modern era. Everybody was working on furniture, chairs, and things like that. And he took a different approach. So he took that same craftsmanship approach that people would, put on chairs, but he applied it to product. This is why he was considered the first one to be a Danish industrial designer. So he's still today considered a pioneer in the Danish design history. He's well known for groundbreaking design philosophy that he specifically applied to B&O. I think everybody knows Bang & Olufsen, the high-end, hi-fi brand. So he was instrumental in transforming B&O, who was at that time a tiny Danish company in the countryside, to the big icon that we know today. So they worked together for close to 30 years, from 64 to 91, and designed more than 200 products over the years. So that was a really, really deep strategic collaborations over the years. So it was not just doing one product and goodbye, right? It was coming up with the whole design language, the whole philosophy, the whole approach that somehow they are still using today, although they have updated, they've expanded their design language and products, but the foundation was created at that time. And some of the pieces actually they became so iconic that they are in some museum of modern art in New York. I think there's 17 pieces that are on the permanent exhibition in the MoMA Museum in New York. And 50 years after, some of these products are actually still there. So they became really timeless work of art, as you can say. This original turntable was designed in 1972, and it was just so different, right? He had to rethink the turntable so it has better performance and it lasts longer. And at that time, it was already thought for the future. That's why they make this is a new edition for the 50 years anniversary. So they basically used the same design, but they updated the technology because, of course, the technology it changes so fast that some of it is outdated. But the casing was allowing all of this new technology to be implemented inside. So it was already kind of future-proof back in the days, right? So they didn't change anything on the outside. It's just they upgraded the technology and did a new edition in 2022 for the 50 years. So that's how long-lasting the design approach of Jacob Jensen was. And it comes down to great products. This is just a great product, and we have used this philosophy because Jacob Jensen, he passed away 2015. So the company carries on with all of the values, all the foundation that he set up at that time, and we broke it down into a few series of principles that we, as a team, without the founder, can work by every day. And it's great products, and we think that great products like I mentioned in the values, they are made for people. And it starts by understanding people, understanding their needs, their dreams, their challenges, and engaging with the users, to see things through their eyes, and making sure that, okay, we fulfill everything. And another one is that products are relevant. And they need to make sense. We cannot just do another product just for the sake of making another product. Right? It has to make a difference. And not just be another one, not just be connected to a particular trend. They need to make sense. Another one is that great products should tell a story. And this is just about, talking about the experience that you have around the product. Because most of us, we don't buy a product just for the sake of buying the product. We want it to, we use it. We want to use it to do something. We want to use it to perform something or to help us in some ways. So that's all about the experience and the storytelling that the product delivers on many third points. So the story is as much as important as the product itself. And of course, great products are beautiful. I mean, there needs to be beautiful. And that just is almost like it's there for people. If you design something, then we might as well make it looking nice, of course. So it has to be beautiful. Because also it's proven to be a purchasing factor. It's an attractive factor that people are attracted to, things that are beautiful. So it should inspire, should catch the eyes and engage you when you interact with the product. And I think the last one is that great products endure. And that's one way that, that Jakob Jensen himself, back in the days before people even talked to sustainability, he was already doing it. He made products that are still on sale today or that can still be used today, 50 years after. So when we talk about sustainability, this is also one aspect. It's not, okay, I'm just going to make everything in bamboo or whatever. This is, making good quality using noble materials that can last a long time. That's another way. And I think this is what Jakob Jensen was doing, ahead of his time. So now we are, from this little place in Denmark, we expanded global presence. We still have the headquarters in Heilsko. If you want to try to pronounce it, you can try by yourself. Heilsko, yeah, very nice. And Shanghai, and here this is our studio right now in Bangkok in KX building, Wong Yen Nhai. And I'm just showing some of the projects that part of this studio here in Bangkok we've been working on. I see some people laughing in there. Yes, some students are in the room and they actually work on that project. That's why I hear some laugh. So one of the first things that we also do when we move to Thailand or we open here is that, okay, we don't want just to do business as usual. We need to engage the youth, engage society, engage with the academic sector. So that's why we partner with KMUTT, Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi, to give some knowledge back, give some knowledge to the students so they can start the career here or have a more international profile or open their own studio, something like that. So in that case, for example, we just collaborated between university and SCG, the cement company, and Disawat, the teak furniture company. And this particular project was more like a research project. It was more like studying, okay, what can we do with outdoor cement furniture? This is like not the most sustainable thing you can think about, and we created this kind of outdoor furniture. So it's actually, this is kind of the first product would come like this. It's like an outdoor table with a bench made of 3D printed cement modules that could be arranged any way you want, and it just topped with a simple plank of thick wood. And then the problem with current furniture is that it is made for you do one thing, and then at the end of the life, it cannot do anything else. It just end up being junk or being wasted. So we actually thought about that from the very beginning. So we thought about the waste from the first place, not after the waste is made. Right? I think this is the problem with so many products right now. Nobody thinks about the waste until it becomes a waste. Right? So, okay, it's a table, but then after a while, if I want to do something else, well, you can rearrange the modules to do something else. Right? So that's one way. Okay, if I stop using it as a table, I can actually do something else with it. I can rearrange it to do some green wall or some anything. If I don't want the wood, it's simple. I can just take it out. I can do a door with it. I can do some shelves. It can be reused. It can be removed and reused very, very easily. But then, okay, the cement blocks, what if it breaks? Or what if I don't want to use it anymore? What can I do with it? So that's why we integrated those kind of pre-cut lines in the design. So actually, if you want, you can break them at those specific locations. And okay, you can do some tiles, some pavements, or some bike storage, or some green wall. So you extend the life. You think about the second life of this product already from the very beginning. So this is it's an ongoing, basically, research project that we've been working on with the students. We've been also working on home farming as well. I think especially during COVID times, where everybody suddenly wanted to grow their own things, grow organic things. So like home farming. Shelf, as well as like a soil, like a growing soil. So we worked on the product and as well the packaging as well. PDM brand the summer fan, using like wood and metal, should come out actually pretty soon, hopefully. We also worked with SolarD on Powerwall solutions. So SolarD is the official representative or sales agent for the Tesla Powerwall in Thailand. But they are making like a holistic solar panel installations on the roof and also with the Powerwall in many houses. So some of the problem is that all of this installation needs a lot of electrical boxes. It needs a lot of inverters, and they don't always look really nice. There are a lot of different boxes, a lot of different cables. So we help them come up with a solution that kind of can match the level of Tesla design. And we work with Divana on both brand and product. Revitalization, just refresh brand and design some new products for them. Dairy home as well, that you may have heard the organic dairy brand from Khao Yai. Okaju as well, just help to restructure a little bit and organize their brand. And also recently just creating, so the other one, some is like refreshing, and in that case, Itera was like creating a brand. So this is like a startup who is basically working for converting, ICE vehicles, so internal combustion engine, turning them into electric cars. Because Thailand has a lot of pickup trucks, that are like 10 years plus old. And structure is still okay. The structure of those cars, they can last for another 10, 20 years because they are still strong, right? But the engine is just too noisy and too polluting. So the idea of this company is that okay, we help logistic company to transform, their fleet into more like electric type of fleet. So we help them setting up the foundation and the strategy for the brand. So if I have to summarize, what we do in our key business activities, it starts with number one. It starts with the sustainable and design education and knowledge sharing. This is the foundation. This is, the base of everything. So through university collab or lectures, workshops, seminars, short course, or even international study trip, studying how Japan is doing, how China or Taiwan or Europe is doing on sustainability. There's a lot of cases that Thai people could learn from or would be really interested to learn from. So this is our kind of our first layers. We say, okay, first people need knowledge. Second is, okay, then a company needs a good product and needs a good service, right? So this is the second. And then if you already have a good product, then okay, you need a good strategy and a good branding strategy. So that's kind of the third layer. So really, in a nutshell, this is kind of what we do. So now about sustainability. So sustainability, it's a big word, but there's a lot of what people are doing about it and what people are thinking about it. And you can see in this diagram that there are about 23%, I think this is worldwide, that are just aware of sustainability. Okay, 23%. And then there's 11% that accept, okay, I need to do something. I'm ready to do something, only 11%. There's 21% that understand. Yeah, but maybe they won't do anything. I understand, yeah, thank you. And then 4%, that both understand and are doing something about it. It's very small. It's very small. And basically 41% have no idea. They have no clue, right? So that relates back to offering. Like, okay, we need to share knowledge, and we need to have more people just know about the principles of it. Yeah. And so that means changing from just being aware to actually commitment, right? So this 4%, of course, it needs to be increased. We need more people to take some action and do something about it. And its first is just basic principles. Honestly, something is just the basic of it is just understand that this is us. This is everything. This is everything. So the well-being of people is connected to the well-being of this, right? The well-being of nature, it's related to the well-being of people. And it's also realizing what I'm putting underneath is that right now the modern systems, they are not sustainable, right? Now we are in linear systems that have a beginning and have an end. And then we somehow need to look back in some traditional systems, actually. So it's the way of going forward, but then we have to look backwards. Some of the local communities who have been operating in autonomy, they use this cyclical progress. They can, do everything in autonomy, in self-autonomy. So from linear system to cyclical progress, because this is the boundaries that we have to work inside. I mean, we all know all of the impacts and the damages that are happening, from the ecological damage, global warming, of course, climate change, the ozone depletion, acid rains, water acidification, biodiversity loss, ecotoxicity, and human health. I talked earlier about smoke and air pollution, and the consequent health and damaging substances and carcinogens. The loss of resources as well, fossil fuel, fresh water, minerals, topsoil. Yeah, it sounds a bit depressing, but this is just the fact. All of this is happening. So there needs to be something done about it. And what we want to do is using creativity not as a problem, but as a driver, for that green transition. It's basically getting away of junk. We were just talking about that earlier this morning. Everybody every day creates a lot of junk, and we use a lot of junk, and we buy a lot of junk, and all of that, it goes somewhere, and we need to get away, from creating that junk. We need to unjunk, the world through different models. Of course, I think this people, planet, profit is a well-known kind of guidance, at least overall, guidance of how to approach things. and it's going from linear to circular. That's the big idea, and that's not going to happen maybe in our lifetime, but this is just, okay, every step towards this is a good step. So right now, this is what we do. We take resource from the ground. This is from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. We take resource from the ground, we make things, and then we discard, and things become waste. So that's the linear progress that I was talking about. So in a sense, and you see here on the left side, this is right now. We have all the pre-use items where we add value. We extract things from the ground, we manufacture, we assemble, we package, and we sell, and then we use it for a short period of time. And then, okay, the value gets destroyed, right? So this is most of the models right now. We need to move to something a bit more like on the right side, where, first of all, the use, you can see the use is longer. And this connects back to the GDD philosophy where, okay, we have to make things that last longer or that can be used for a long period of time. That's one element that we can help in this system, right? So using for a longer period of time. And then retaining the value. So either reusing or reselling, remanufacturing, recycling, and all of that. So this is just different steps at different levels to move towards this circular economy and reducing the residual waste, because there will always be anyway. I think with the technology that we have right now, we can't get away with 100% waste removal. That's just not possible. But the idea is just to reduce it as much as possible, because now it's like an insane amount of proportion is a high percent. So it's to move towards this, and it's not easy, and it takes time, and it's not going to be done overnight. And that's why there's some steps that can be taken, to work to go towards that. There's small steps that everybody can do, and because circular economy, okay, it sounds like a big thing, and it is a big thing, and it has a lot of implication from people to government to companies and to everyone. So it's a bit scary. So okay, there's actually some steps that can be taken that everybody can do, every company can do to go towards this goal, right? And I just put this resolve framework that kind of highlights some specific action that can be taken on for example, the regenerate aspects, so shifting to renewable energy and materials, or the sharing, optimizing, looping, virtualize, and exchange, right? So there's some guidance here. The first one, of course, is about talking about materials, because most of it relates to energy and materials, right? So using renewable energy and materials, rethinking, the ownership model, because right now we own things. We want to own privately things that maybe we don't use, or that maybe somebody else needs. So it's just rethinking some of the business models that, okay, nobody needs to own 100% of everything all the time, right? So some companies are already trying some things with some what they call access business model, right? So you need something, you can get something only when you need it, right? So you're sharing, you access the service of the product when you need to have it. And the other aspect, which is quite critical also, is the optimizing aspect. And this is a diagram of the life expectancy of some of the major products, or especially electrical products, over the past years. And you can see that most of them have been reduced quite a lot. So they are used for a smaller amount of time. Small consumer electronic accessories, 20%. The only thing that has increased is the lamp. It's mostly because of technology and LED technology, but all the rest are used less and less longer. And all of that is becoming junk, right? All of that ends up in landfill. And then there's, again, some examples of companies that are doing something about it. There's a French startup who is tackling the durability in washing machines, for example. So how to make it, durable and repairable. So because in many devices, they are not meant to be repairable, or they are to repair it costs more than just buying a new one. And I think this happens to many people where there's something wrong with the printer, and they go to a printer repair shop, and then they compare, oh, is it going to cost more to repair it than to buy a new one? So I buy a new one. Yeah, okay, but what happens to the old one? Yeah, junk, landfills, right? And that's not the consumer's fault, right? It's like the product has been designed so it cannot be repaired. So, this is a problem with the companies and the designers and all of that. And upgradable, like the technology changes very fast, how we can keep products relevant, how we can give people access to upgrades in an easy way. And you can still be cool, you can still be unique. Of course, that's not a problem, because in many situations, those, if you're repairable and upgradable, the product becomes boring. It doesn't have to be this way. It can also be attractive. Design for durability. I'm just showing this example from Witzo. This is a shelving system, actually designed by Dieter Rams, the German designer. I think this is already 50 or 60 years ago. It looks like timeless. It still looks modern today. And this is just, okay, if you do something that, answers the basic needs of people, I need a modular shelving system. Then okay, it's still relevant tomorrow. It can still be relevant in 10 years because it's still going to do the job, right? So this is a good example that I like to share. And on the maintenance and repairing aspect, there's some companies also that are doing things. It's quite critical also in the world of children and babies, because the needs and the products evolves very fast over a short period of time, right? So how do you help reducing, junk in this segment? So this company, Bugaboo, for example, they made a stroller that has that you can detach pretty much every single piece without any screw. Like it's like screwless, so you can just if one wheel break, you can remove that wheel and you can replace it by a new one. And I think that goes well with all the parts. So you don't need to throw away the whole stroller and buy a new one. You can actually go very specific and, okay, I need to replace this particular thing. I can do it by myself because I don't need any tool. And then I don't need to change the whole thing again. Right? So this is a nice approach. And I think for me, the ultimate example of this principle is the bicycle. The bicycle for me is a great product. Why? Because it can be maintained, it can be repaired super easily by everyone. Everything is open, everything is standardized in terms of and then, okay, bicycle uses human energy to move. So that's why Danish people love it so much. It's the most sustainable way of mobility, right? So yeah, I love those bikes. And Thailand is actually is doing some good things as well, right? Planto is probably one of my favorite Thai brands, actually, and one of my favorite brands. And they're doing really good things, many aspects. Like all the things that I just mentioned before, they are doing it. They use reclaimed rubber trees as the primary source of material. So like the trees in the south, in I think Trang province, that are used to make rubber. Then when they've done doing rubber, they recover the trees and they make the toys. They use it as raw materials. They use chemical-free process, E0 glue, so free from toxins, glue, water-based dyes, organic pigments, plant-based ink for the packaging, and eco materials as well for the packaging. So for me, a really good example to follow in Thailand. And they even reusing the waste of the production waste. So when they saw the wood, there's a lot of dust that gets thrown away. So they even recover that and use it to make a new product, so that there's zero waste, because the powder gets collected, it gets mixed with some organic glue and then dyed in color, and they kind of mold it into new toys. So there's a special texture to it that says, okay, this is made from this material, and then it can continue again to be another toy. So we have some guidelines. This is what I'm saying. I mean, everybody knows this, and the UN have set up a really clear guideline, at least until 2030, with the SDGs, and then so we just have to do our part of work, and then some people will tackle some of those specific numbers, some of them they will tackle some other numbers, and we have to realize that those are all interconnected, right? So we cannot just think as one guideline by itself. As we have to realize that if you tackle poverty, and you're going to actually help on another number, right? So this is have to realize that those are kind of interconnected. Thailand itself has started to implement government policies as well. I think traditionally you have in Thailand this sufficient economy philosophy. I think that was kind of inherited or set up by royal family, which includes moderation, a combination of moderation, self-immunity, and reasonableness. I'm sure the Thai word sounds better than that, but it's based on knowledge and morality. So I think historically there's some framework that have been done, set up quite a few years ago already, on how to approach a sufficient and sustainable economy. More recently, the government also introduced BCG economy, right? So bio, circular, green economy. So there's a lot of initiatives that are hinting people that it's time to do something, and here's some guidelines on where you should focus. And the thing is, this is becoming a bit more and more urgent by the day. And we can see, for example, the CBAM. So this is like a carbon barrier block. That means that from Europe, they're going to start filtering everything that comes through outside of Europe. They're going to have a barrier that says, stop, show me your carbon credit, where's your carbon certificate, and they will let you enter or not, or give you some fines or give you some fees, right? And right now it's only on a few selected field, like aluminum, very, very carbon intensive. So aluminum, iron, fertilizer, and coal. And they will start actually implementing some sort of punishment or fees by 26, I think. And they're probably going to enlarge to other fields. So this is why I'm saying that, before it was nice to do, but now this is must do, right? Must do, because otherwise the people cannot do business anymore. So this is becoming, a must do. And there's a lot of different reasons that I listed on the right, why do that? The public opinion, of course, there's a growing, interest in this thing, that there's a lot of pressure from NGOs, and legal requirements that are forcing companies to actually be proactive and do something, and the need for disclosing, data, disclosing documents about the company's sustainable aspect or your carbon footprint, eco-labeling schemes showing the company's impact on the environment, norms and standards that are becoming more strict and that will force companies to improve. Subsidies for government, also they start to implement subsidies to companies who are doing good things, can get tax cut and subsidies. The customers, of course, they are increasing the demand for healthier, safer environment and socially responsible. And of course, the people who are doing it, who are doing it first, then they get a competitive advantage. They can improve the performance of their products and through the sustainability aspect. So okay, now we know a little bit more about sustainability and how do we do, design solutions based on that. So when we do, for example, product design, it's mostly tackling on the number 12, responsible conception and production. And it comes down to something actually quite simple. It's just, okay, doing the right thing and doing things right. It's like, okay, if I put it in a nutshell, if people just remember that in mind, you can actually solve a lot of things. There's a lot of moral, there's a moral issue. Am I doing the right thing? And then there's a process issue, like about doing things right. And so we've set up some sort of process, a strategic process that help companies making significant progress, not just facelifting. I think we're past the age of facelifting. Now is the time for deep, fundamental change. So we have this process that kind of 4 steps from discover, explore, emerge, produce. So you can read it as deep, DEEP. And the discover part is, getting deep understanding of the fundamental needs and dreams. And I underline fundamental because everybody has needs, but which one is the fundamental? Which one is the real need? That's the key. And exploring, now it's also time to challenge, the conventional wisdom and challenge status quo and explore new solution, new way of doing things. And the emerging phase is about collaboration, co-creation, collaborative development with industry experts. Because as single unit we can do much, but okay, we have to collaborate to do something. And on the last stage, the production stage is kind of critical, I think, especially for design studios and company who are producing products. Is the choice of materials. Is being careful about the choice of materials and the product, lifestyle assessment during prototyping and production. And on the discover stage, like I mentioned, is about not making assumptions, but is really deeply understanding the people, deeply understanding the domain, the core problems that we are trying to solve. I put this quote from Henry Ford. He invented the car, invented the automobile. Right? And you say, okay, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said, I want faster horses. This is all they could think about. They have horses. What do you want? I just need faster horses. So you cannot just ask people, what do you want? What do you need? Right? And this is kind of our job to go beyond those assumptions and then, deeply, when I say deeply, understanding the need of the customers and coming up with a solution that just go beyond doing what they want. It's just doing what they truly need. Right? Okay, that on the right is just listed kind of some of the tasks that we have to go through to actually get to that stage from local and international competition to listing insights, needs, and pain points, and looking at different categories of business, different technologies of business to get inspired in our project. And then when we explore, this is also looking at a possible solution that are meeting needs in different ways. There's not only one way to do something. There's always multiple ways to do something. So it's kind of important to think about different solutions and stay open to different solutions. Some that may be more conventional, some maybe that are more unconventional and more out of the box. And on the emerge phase, this is about where collaboration and co-creation happen. Right now, we have a lot of people are working separately, individually, in silo, so really one-sided solutions. And of course, we cannot all be expert in everything, so we have to work with experts in their own fields and come together, to create more integrated solutions. That's what we do in the emerge phase. On the production phase, I think this is where it gets really technical, and maybe that's not the most sexy slide, but this is actually very, very important, because especially for products, like I mentioned earlier, the energy that is used to do things and the materials that is used to do things, this is really the two factors that are super impactful for sustainability. So at the different stages, you have different strategic focus. You say, for example, from selection of low impact materials, and then there's a lot of questions that to ask yourself when you select low impact materials. Is there any sensitive materials? Is there any materials that has high energy consumption? Is there anything toxic in my products? What materials can be recycled? Anything can be biodegradable? And then, okay, once you have the materials, what is the total weight? Can I reduce the weight? Because the weight impacts transportation, it impacts a lot of things. Can I reduce the number of materials? Can I use fewer materials? How are they joined together? And packaging as well, like how is this going to be packaged or delivered? Should it be more concerned on the safety, or should it be more on the image? And so on and so forth. So this is kind of a checklist to assess, the footprint and the material use and the energy use of a product that can go through to reduce and to proceed with approaches to how to improve each particular touch point. I'm just putting up this quick case study from Divana, because I showed a little bit earlier, and I think maybe some of you know that Divana is spa brand from Thailand, and they have a few spa here in Bangkok. They have a few in Chiang Mai, Phuket. They're mostly known about spa, but they also they used to deliver those kind of products as well as part of the spa offering. And those products were mostly thought about a souvenir after you do the spa. And initially they targeted mostly foreigners, like this talking before COVID. They targeted foreigners. There's a lot of Asian and Russians, European American tourists that when they come to Thailand, they need to have the massage, the spa experience. So this was really the target. And when they finish the spa, then they bring a souvenir for my mom or something like that. So they were they could purchase this after the spa. But then COVID hit, so they had a problem because they were targeting foreigners, and suddenly there's no foreigners. What should we do? So we helped them a little bit in that process of pivoting to be to refocus their target group, and also do some steps towards the sustainable aspect. And this brand has a great reputation for scent. They really use some local ingredients and creating unique scents that nobody else has. That's really their strength. They use natural ingredients, and some of them are proven to help some health benefits. And the problem that they also had is it looks pretty traditional. It looked very Thai. So for tourists, no problem. This is what they want. They want to bring back a piece of Thailand with them. But then for the Thai people or the young generation, this is like old-fashioned for them. This is like, this is the new gen. This is not what they want. They are more like, they are more international, and they want something more new and more fresh. They don't want that. So it was not conveying that premium brand image, and it was not very consistent. So every time they had a new product, they had a new design, a new bottle, a new packaging that was completely different. So they were like tripling, doubling, multiply by 10 also the amount of waste in terms of the product and the packaging that were so different from one to another. So they needed to optimize this thing. What is this? Okay. So like I mentioned, we took, we went through that process together about, discovering, before we jump into designing a new bottle, wait, what are we doing here? What is the objective of this? So kind of sit down together and just had this kind of collaborative, kickoff to say, okay, to understand really what are the stakeholders' priority, understand the different needs and the different priorities of the organization, from the owners to the sales to the marketing, and then they could transfer to us some knowledge that we didn't have before, but that was kind of required for us to be able to do the right thing. And then the first thing we kind of revamp is the strategic foundation. And that it kind of made of 3 components. It's the mission and vision and the values and the personality. So this is what I mentioned when we designed that it should be meaningful, it should be relevant, right? To be relevant, then it has to be based on something. It needs to be based on who they are, what they believe in. It cannot just be another thing, right? Then he can be relevant and he can be long-lasting. So we set up a set of brand mission and vision, values and personality. I'll get back to that point later. And then we explore, okay, so based on who you are now, this is different ways that you can go, right? Instead of just closing in and, putting down their throat the final solution, is like I mentioned, a collaborative process, right? So we make choices together. Do you want to go in the timeless, really simple, minimalist approach with focus on the ingredients, focus on the plants, on the flowers that you use? Or do you want to be something a bit more balanced, where you use very floral illustrations, but very minimalistic in the mood and tone, very contrasted, black and white? Or you want to be more daring, because they have this value of innovation and coming up with new scents, new products. So they have this value of daring. So you could really go this way. It would still be you, but that would be like kind of far. So then we had the discussion, okay, which way we want to go. So in the end, like many cases, actually, it ended up being a combination of things. So it's like, okay, they like this kind of mood and tone, back to earth, down to earth, using the wood rings as an element, because their approach to helping people wellness and longevity. And the color palette, that was also actually the colors you see here, they are from the same tones of the old product that you saw, but it's just less bright, so something a bit more calm, more international, and then a new type of ID for their products as well. So it was a combination of all of this. So basically, this is going from old to new, and whether people like it or not, that's another discussion. But the target really was to optimize things, to come up with a signature. For example, that kind of black D shape become, okay, this is Divana's signature cap. Actually, on the top there's like rings inspired by 3 rings. So this is the kind of the new product line, and okay, the actual photography of the product that comes after this, and again using noble materials. This is like glass body, wooden cap, and just showing the ingredients, and just really showing the liquid through this kind of mysterious transparency. So this is way to, okay, how to not just be, but be and sustainable, be and communicate sustainability. As well for the hand cream, using recycled plastic here, and using the cap as a standee. So because we purposely made this cap really oversized, so it becomes like really iconic, and you can use it across all of different products. But then the hand cream can stand on its own, right? So you always have the liquid at the bottom, and you don't need to shake it or squish too much. And all the way to the fragrance bag, right? You can put in rooms or in the closet to improve the scent. So actually, it's a mix of dried flowers that you put in a bag, and then you can hang it in this net wherever you want. Again, using the color palette that we set earlier, and all the way to candles as well, ceramic and bamboo candles, and the packaging that goes with it. So it's kind of the overall pictures of what they became after. And they just opened at Hemisphere thing. They just opened recently. You can go check their shop over there. Okay, so I think the last part here is about purposeful branding and brand strategy. So we went for the first layer about sustainable knowledge and say, okay, after that you need good product and good service, and the next level is branding and strategic branding. Or if people already have good products and good service, then okay, they would they jump directly to this stage. Okay, thank you. And when it comes to branding, I think before we talk about branding, people have different understanding or even don't understand really well. Okay, what is that? And so what is a brand? Many people think that it's a logo, right? And you think, oh, is that a brand? And you think, oh, I'll put it everywhere. I put my logo everywhere and I have a brand. No, it's not that. So is it the products then? Well, again, no, it's not. The brand is not a product, right? Because products they come and they go, and the brand stays. Right? So it's not a product. And then, so is it like the assets? Is it my factory? Is it the machines that I own? No, it's not either. And I think there's someone from Coca-Cola put it really nicely. So they say, okay, if Coca-Cola were to lose all of its production-related assets in a disaster, the company would survive. Imagine they lose everything, all the factory, all the machines, but Coca-Cola can still continue. Right? But by contrast, if all the consumers, they were to have a sudden lapse of memory, and they forget everything they know about Coca-Cola, then okay, in that case, the company would go out of business. Right? And the history of the brand, just stepping back a little bit about where does branding or brand comes from. And it comes back to basically American cattle industry, right? They used to have different farmers raising cattle over wide open fields. So then at some point, some of the cattle, they started to mix. Right? There was one farm cattle and the other farm cattle, they started to mix. So they had to do something to recognize which cattle is mine, which cattle is yours, right? So we need to mark them. So this piece of iron here, it's actually called a brand. Right? This is a brand. So they would warm it up, and then they would stamp, and they would brand the cow, right? And so that's kind of how the things kind of started. So it started by meaning that this is my cow, this is your cow, and then it evolved to mean a lot of different things. So if a farm producing a dairy, they would say, okay, this brand means, first this is from my cow, but they are raised in this type of environment. They eat this type of things. They have this type of trees around and all of this. So it becomes to mean more than just you and me. It becomes to mean that everything that is associated to how they do business, how they raise their cow, how they treat their employees, and everything around that. So that's kind of how brand creates. So when I put it in a nutshell, a brand is who you are. Like a brand is who you are. It's just kind of as simple as that. to define, what is the brand. And why this is important is that brands, they add value. You take a white T-shirt. I think the fashion industry is probably the best as that. A white T-shirt, the Gucci can sell it for $240, and someone else or H&M, I don't know, they sell it for $15. Why? The Gucci brand, right? Brands also have customer loyalty still, although it's decreasing, but still. And customer loyalty can be worth 10 times more than a single purchase. I think we're seeing, especially with the fast-paced e-commerce and all that, there's a lot of strategies or marketing strategies that are very short-sighted by companies. They spend a lot of money into trying to grab one customer, but then they spend a lot of effort on that. Whether this customer is going to return, not sure, right? So branding kind of helps in having customer returns without doing all of this efforts and investment. Another important point on the brand side is that brands compete on more factor than price. And I think I've had many discussions with companies in Thailand who actually, everybody say, oh, there's in my field, there's the Chinese who are doing the same thing, but cheaper, I cannot compete. And this is where brands help, because competing on price, nobody wins, right? Or the Chinese will always be the winners. So you cannot compete on price. If you want to be sustainable, you have to compete on more factors. And this is where the brand comes into play. You say you take these two cars who have Mini Cooper and Ford Fiesta. They basically have the same specs. If you look at it, the numbers, the consumption per 100 kilometers, the weight, and all that, basically same specs. But the Mini Cooper sells for $36,000, and Ford Fiesta, $14,500. And this is, again, is like the Gucci example. Is the Mini Cooper brand is so strong, so powerful, so valuable that people are willing to pay that price because it's something really emotional. It's like, it's a Mini Cooper. I don't care if it's cost. It's like I love it. I love the image about it. And you can extend that to Tiffany. Like rings. Okay, you can get cheap rings from anywhere, but then Tiffany is not just a ring. Right? It's a promise of life of love and marriage. It is like so it's the whole universe around it that comes together. And if you hook people through emotion like that, then the price is a secondary. It becomes like a secondary factor. So it's all about like Tiffany or the Mini Cooper. It's building emotional connection, because the relationship between a man and the woman, or man and the partner, I have to be more inclusive. A relationship between two people, is an emotional relationship, and the relationship between someone and a brand is exactly the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. So he loves that Porsche so much. So it's building emotional connection, because the relationship between someone and the brand, someone and the people is very, very similar. And why this is important? It's a very simple diagram. So time, from the Industrial Revolution, where we start producing things, to now, and the quality, right? So when we started, things, the quality of things were so-so, right? So at that time, when you buy a car, you needed to check the steel. Is it gonna rust? Is it strong? You need to check really tangible things. But then the more time goes, that the quality of things have improved generally. So At some point now, when you buy a car, you're not gonna knock on it. Is it gonna rust? Is it strong? Yeah, well, you assume that there's a level of quality that has been achieved. So when you reach that stage where quality of things are not an issue, you change. Before you were thinking with your head, right? Okay, is it strong enough? And then after that, okay, you think with your heart, right? Do I love this brand? Do I love what they believe in, what they stand for, etc. So from the head to the heart. And then branding. So we talk about what is the brand. Branding is basically the tools, right, and the methods that are used to tell people about you, who you are, and about your brand. And I'm using this Japanese bridge as an example. So this bridge is the bridge with the largest span in the world. And where did they started when they built this bridge? They started with the foundation. Right? So they built this kind of huge, concrete cylinder to settle at the end, the bottom of the ocean, the pillar. And I'm using that as an example because when you build a bridge, you start with the foundation, or when you build a building, you start with the foundation, right? You don't start with the thing at the top, right? So approaching a brand is the same thing. It's like thinking about the logo before thinking about the foundation, right? Creating a strong foundation makes things stronger. That bridge, when there was the big Kobe earthquake, he was still there. He actually, I think it extended by 1 meter, but it didn't fall anything, right? So this is just a metaphor to say, okay, foundations of a brand are critical. And like the Mini Cooper or the Tiffany case, what values do you stand for, right? Consumers now, they increasingly want to buy from businesses who have values that they can connect with, they can relate to. So it's important, to think about this. Okay, what's your story? What's the ultimate purpose of what you do? What do you believe in? What do you stand for? And why should people choose your service over someone else? How are you different? And what real value are you ultimately providing to customer? And finding this kind of gives purpose. It gives focus. There's so many opportunities all the time, everywhere. And, you cannot grab them all. So having a strong purpose gives you focus into which one to say yes and which one to say no to, right? Just using an example of a water pump. It's actually a Danish company, Grundfos. And they don't just sell pumps, right? When they sell a product, it's not just a pump. Like they help, people to have access to clean water, right? So this is like stepping back. This is, okay, the product, okay, fine, but what is it used for? And the purpose of that company is not to sell pumps and sell as many pumps as possible. It's to provide people access to clean water. So that just kind of reframe the narrative, of a brand or a strategy. Okay. Second example is these Wi-Fi routers, right? So very, very functional products. So this company also, they don't just sell Wi-Fi routers. What they do really, what people need is seamless and fast access to the internet world, right? I mean, I rarely see people buying a router that looks like a spider just for the sake of it, right? They would plug it and they would just hide it underneath. So to think about branding in a more like purposeful way, there's that kind of mindset shift that kind of needs to happen, right? People are using product, are using a service not for itself, but for what it allows them to do, for the experience and the activity that it delivers. So part of the tools, like I mentioned earlier, the Divana case, the foundation comes with a mission and vision, right? And a simple way to define this is that the mission, when you define, what is the mission, Basically, the mission focuses on today and what the company does, and the vision focuses on tomorrow and what the company wants to become. And as a metaphor, I'm using this kind of flashlight. So the mission is the flashlight. It's like, okay, what do you do every day? You have some actions that you need to follow every day. So you need to see where you're going every day. Then the vision is the direction, is the compass. It's like, okay, I know I need to head north. So now I can see what I'm doing in front of me, and okay, I know where I'm going over there. So this is kind of a way to understand what is mission and what is the vision, because there's many people who are mixing both or don't really define it really well. So okay, let's use that example, because when it's actually well defined, you can see which brand are you're talking about right away. So I'm going to try it on you right now. Imagine a company that has a mission that says, okay, we want to inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow, and have a vision that says we want to invent the future of play. What brand? Legos. Yeah, that's right. Okay, Lego. So you see, like in a really short sentence, you can right away recognize what brand is that. Okay, let's try another one. I think it's also quite easy. So this company has a mission to create the most compelling car company of the 21st century and driving the world's transition to electric vehicle. And the vision is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right, Tesla. So Tesla, this is what's interesting. You know, their mission, this is, okay, what they do today, okay, they are selling electric cars, right? The vision is a lot bigger than that. They are not even talking about cars, right? They want to accelerate the world transition to sustainable energy. And this is what, okay, Tesla, they have this bigger goal, right? They don't just do cars, right? They do Powerwall, they do solar, tires, and many, many other things. So that's the first two elements, mission and vision. Then we have the values, who are the company fundamental belief. So what do we believe in? And based on what we believe in, then, okay, you reflect what you do in every brand touch point. Let's try another one. So this is a brand. This is a brand that has values. You know, so what do they believe in? They believe in magic, family, and happiness. What brand are we talking about here? I hear some Disney. So good, huh? Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay, another one. This brand believes in happiness, refreshment, and unity. Maybe it's a bit, which one? Starbucks? Huh? Starbucks, okay. Another one. It's not Starbucks. Huh? Coca-Cola. Yeah, okay, Starbucks, Coca-Cola. Yes, yeah, that's right. That's right, Coca-Cola. So everything that they do will have to kind of reflect happiness, refreshment, unity. And then I'll finish with that Dairy Home branding case, because this is, you know, I went through the theory, and this is where we got to apply in practice in a local case what we did for Dairy Home. And I think now this is kind of the result. You see all of that in there. You can see them on the shelves right now. And this is an interesting story, and this is why I'm saying there's so many interesting stories, so many interesting people in Thailand who have great products, who are very nice. This is like a product that is really, really close to my heart. And Dairy Home, you know, in short, it's a registered Thai social enterprise, right? They are leading the organic farming network in Thailand. Kun Prut, he was one of the founder in one of the key driver in helping growing the organic farming in Thailand overall. They have great products of high quality standards. So in that case, you know, this is a case where in terms of the raw products, there's nothing to do about it. They have great yogurt, they have great dairy, no problem. They have large variety of products and flavor, and they're reasonably priced to competitors, right? This is not like if you buy imported dairy from New Zealand, it's going to cost 3 or 4 times more than that. So great local products with accessible price. Biodegradable packaging, and they use no pesticides or no chemicals in their facilities. They harvest the rain, they use solar panel and all that. So great company. But okay, they had actually a problem. Why a company is so good came to us? Actually, because their sales was not good, stagnating or quite low. And so for us, it's like, that's a surprise. Why just like on the paper, so good, so good value, so good products, and why is this not working? So this is kind of where we started, and we started first to investigate, to discover. So we filled our fridge. This is the fridge in the studio. When we started to work on this project, we have to know what we're talking about. So we drank a lot of milk at that time, and we ate a lot of yogurts. That's why I love yogurt myself. But so we tried the product, and then we went to the farm to see how they were operating, how they were milking the cows and all that. Also going to visiting some stores, how their product at that time was sold in different markets, whether it's in Big C or in Paragon or different areas of Bangkok, for example. They would have different positioning and the different target that was visiting the store. So we looked at how their product was doing on the shelves, and we talked to some customers about why they were buying or not buying this particular products, and we couldn't see where the dairy home product was, really, because it's overwhelmed by Meiji Blue. It's overwhelming. Not only Meiji, actually, the Shokshai and all of the others. So there was really some issue here, and we look at their communication. So we say, okay, we know the products are good. We went to the stores. Okay, we cannot see the products, and the people are not really. They're buying some other brands. Why? We look at their communication, and we see that all of their different products. They were like very inconsistent. So it looks like one product, one brand. It looks like it was coming from different brands. So okay, this is the problem here. It's part of the problem here was the communication and the inconsistency in the packaging. And another aspect was also the communication, because they were really confident and they knew their product by heart. They knew the technical aspect in terms of the component, the chemical component, the ingredients. They know everything by heart. So when they talk to customers, they were like, oh, it's symbiotic, probiotic, omega-3, CLA, melatonin. For the regular customer, they're like, what the hell are you talking about here? I just want to know if it's good for me or not. Right? So this is kind of the problem is, okay, they had some inconsistency, and then they were talking in a very technical way that was not really resonating with the audience. And I think someone from my team at that time said, oh, this is like talking physics with the baby. So it's very technical terms, but childish illustration. So confusing. So, okay. Then we started the process. We did something about it. So we had this very collaborative process and some one-to-one interview over there in Pak Chong to understand from the different people. So not just the owners, actually, just many people. I think 15 people from different departments to tell us in their words why do they work with this company? What do they think this company is doing? And then we had also some workshop, very nice setting by the river, to think together about this and narrow down the options of the brand foundation, how to pivot from here. And then we set up the foundation. Okay, after all of this process, okay, this is this is what we do, this is our mission, this is our vision, this is the values that we believe in. We believe in organic, in passion, and in caring. We're organic, passionate, and caring. So all of this has to, when you communicate, has to come through in a certain way. Right? You have to communicate that you believe in organic, that you're passionate, and that you're caring. Okay, so like the Divana principle, like the Divana example, we come up with 3 options for them that kind of all matches who they are, but in a different ways. So this is what they could have become. So the first one, say, okay, this is more like we're building more on the warm family aspect. This is more like facelift a little bit, but we really play with the color red. There's a lot of blue in the, like I mentioned, in the shelves. And locally, they have this red barn. So locally, they are known as bandeng, right? The red barn. So we thought, okay, let's really build on this red color so they can really own it, right? This is dairy home. This is red. And the second one was more playing on the organic aspect. So really, okay, we're going to use some down-to-earth tone, using imagery of how they, cultivate products, how they take care of, the earth. And then on the last one was more on the passionate aspect. Okay, you can really go another way, not using the red at all, but using some really kind of stylish imagery where you show the ingredients in a modern way, and using illustrations instead of photo, right? And also changing the packaging as well. So these are three options, and this kind of mock-ups of the 3 options, and so this is what they could have looked like. They went with the first option as the main, the main direction. First, because it was not involving too much investment in packaging. We said, okay, the first direction actually we're going to use what you have already. So okay, because they have a lot of stocks in bottles that they need to be able to continue to use, and they don't need investment to. It's quite high to redesign, new bottles. Because they are warm and friendly, we keep this rounded, very friendly rounded logo type that integrates instead of the A, you have the barn image, and use really, really warm, pictures of caring families together. So there's different ways to integrate the brand values, and illustration as well, because they were proud of their the technical aspect of their product. So one way to visualize that is like referring to kind of those vintage encyclopedia drawings, a bit like scientific drawings, handmade drawings, put all that together. And yeah, I mean that comes with the regular lot of communication, so and this is kind of the result, right? So new rounded logo types that is friendly, caring, playing with the barn icon, strong red color, mixed in use with the illustration. Is it working? Okay. Yeah. And also they are part of, they want to reintroduce the glass bottle, right? Because okay, plastic is good, but yeah, we know that it's not the most sustainable way. So they're also trying to reintroduce the milkman, right? That comes to your door in exchange for old bottles to new bottles through glass. And okay, what happens after, right? Because this is, you want that to have an effect. Right, there's also the purpose of this project was that okay, people know more about this brand and they can sell a little bit more, that people start talking about this. And this is a thing that you cannot put some numbers before you start the project. You cannot predict, right? But if you do it well, that can only go high if the brand itself is really diligent in implementing. But for example, before we started the project in Okay, 19 on Facebook, they had 20,000 likes, right? So this relates to awareness, right? Brand awareness. In 23, they had 48,000, so it grew by more than 136%. On Instagram, because they use, really high quality, nicely directed photography, which is, the key behind Instagram. The followers grow by 479%. And okay, I'm not even talking about TikTok, but people started to do some, some they do something like that on TikTok, right? They started to do some TikTok with milk and yogurt. So you can imagine people before that doing some TikTok with the yogurt. So it becomes really big on social media. And in terms of sales, okay, this is also matters. Okay, so before they had, in 2020 they had a sale volume about 139 million. And then, after implementing the projects, it went up to 220. So that's kind of 61% increase. So again, this is to show that, the objective of increasing the sale was achieved through all of that process. Oh, I think that's it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sébastien, for today that sharing very, very useful information that you can apply and your organization also. Right now, we are going to the state of Q&A. I would like to invite Dr. Thanita here on stage, and she will be our moderator for Q&A section. Please. Yes, okay.
You can clap, huh? Yeah, you can
1
clap.
minute for the chair. Yes, here. Okay,ค่ะ.
Thank you, Sébastien.
Okay. Well, sit, so-
I'm not sure if the rest of the audience can capture, the key message like I did, but I'm from the strategy point of view, and I'm the management consultant by career. So to me, there's two magic words that I learned today. One, sustainability doesn't come with cost, but it actually, would give the business profit. Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
that's a
usually
nice,
when we talk
takeaway.
about sustainability and eco-friendly, most of the time we think that it's would just incur costs, and we have to be environmental friendly. So that's maybe beyond what is actually needed, but it's not. Like Dairy Home, they already proved that they is more profitable.
Yes, yeah. And again, sustainability is not a short-term vision, right? It's a long-term. So maybe initially there is some maybe additional investment, some additional costs, but then we're doing all this for the long term, right?
Yeah.
So I think the return in the long term, of course, they are there, right? But we have to keep in mind that the perspective, this is a long-term thing. Yeah.
Yep. Very, very insightful. And now if we, walk into the supermarket and we look on the shelf and see Dairy Home, now we know that it's a Thai product which looks so international. I thought it's an imported product, actually.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Okay. I think we pretty much cover on the product design. How about service sector? Do you have any example or any thing to share in case of service business?
Yeah. So honestly, we don't have a lot of cases in the service segment to share. So our expertise is really more on strategy and product. And I think for service, we have some small touch points. But I think for me, it basically could follow a very similar approach, because for me, service is like mixing a bit of branding and product kind of together. So some of the same principle or way of approaching would be relatively similar. It's just instead of delivering something tangible, you're delivering something intangible.
Yep.
But the process would stay relatively similar, I think. Yeah.
I think Okaju might probably be one of a good example. They're actually in restaurant business. It's actually service sector.
Yeah.
But with the look and feel of the entire restaurant, atmosphere, and I think now the takeaway product that they put on the shelf is all have a quite integrated communication kind of pattern from the design that you did for them. Right?
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, we kind of touched on the service for the products in the case of Okaju, because we had to, design, for example, the welcome station in front of a restaurant.
Yes.
So we say, okay, how should that be? And then do the eating experience itself. We define, okay, actually we design, we propose some design for the plates, and where the food should be, where the food should be on the plate, where the sauce should be on the plate, and how to present the menus on the table. Right?
I see.
Where should they be, and which direction should they be oriented, depending on the number of people on the table. So this is kind of some thinking of, okay, you want to provide Okaju service, then this is some small touch point that you can.
It's touch points.
Yes,
the keyword
yeah.
is touch points.
Yeah.
So how you communicate and how you make them the experiences that they have at the shop, or even when they see Okaju anywhere, when you communicate through the PR.
Yes, there's the how you can be Okaju before the client comes to lunch, during the lunch, after the lunch.
I
right?
see.
You have all of this journey. You have different touch points, right? So how can you be Okaju and provide this really, warm, caring service? But it can be for small things like how you put the menu, or how you greet the people, how you are dressed.
Very interesting.
There's different touch points that.
Very interesting. And another two magic words I learned today also, sustainability could, make it easier to understand by adopting, number one, durability. Number two, simplicity. With these two in mind, then we probably get close to, the cycle of how we get closer to the traditional system, right? Not like straight line, just use it and throw it away.
Yeah, you use it longer, right? So design it in a way that it can be used longer, and connected to that, somehow simplicity is connected to that. It doesn't have to be scary, to be minimalistic, right? This is like we have to differentiate simple and minimalistic. So we're not talking about minimalistic, but we are talking about doing simple in a way that having the things that are meaningful and useful and make sense, for that to be there. But anything that doesn't belong there should not be there, because you're adding confusion to the user, you're adding materials, you're adding things, or you're adding things that are related to fashion. And the problem with fashion that, okay, it comes and goes. So if you align yourself with fashion, then you can be relevant today, but then tomorrow you're not. Okay. So your thing becomes junk. So that's why the simplicity is actually a tool to achieve things that are more durable. Yeah.
So it's minimum requirement to fit with the needs of the people.
Yes, it's like the minimal things you can do to fit the needs. So that's flexible, because some people are more needs, some people are less. Yep. But the solution has to be kind of to meet in the right point, not provide less, not provide more.
So it's like a must-have, not like go over too much, or just nice to have.
Yes, that's why I highlight the word fundamental. The fundamental
I see.
is like the thing that is really useful, the thing that is really needed, right? The essential thing, right? The fundamental. Yeah.
Fantastic. We would like to, have Sébastien entertain some questions from the floor as well, and also from Zoom and Facebook.
Here in the room, do you have any questions?
Sure,
Yes.
sure.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Hope you're well, Sir Sébastien. So you mentioned a few traits that make Danish design or Danish approach likable in certain traits, such as peaceful, sustainability, or in that manner. If a new kind of a country or a new perspective was to be made in a different culture, should they follow what's already there that has worked for this country, or should they stick with what they are or their identity?
Thank you, sir. Very good question. I think there's an aspect of cultural context that is important. So you can say that one solution can be universally applied. So I think when I take the Danish design DNA, there's some principle that actually are universally recognized as being the good thing, right? But then you have to, locally there might be things that are changing, right? So if you take the Thai context, maybe not 100% of these keywords will apply. Maybe some of them would actually, work. You take, for example, the craftsmanship aspect. Thailand has a history of good craftsmanship, and there's also, social. Thailand has also this point. So, yeah, some points can match with a cultural context. Not 100% of them. Yeah, there's a cultural context that comes into the picture. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Another questions here in the room? Yeah. So we have one question from Zoom. From the designer perspective, how do you convince major manufacturing company between high quality, durable, and long-lasting product versus low cost and repeated purchasing from consumer, where is more feasible in business return?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think in our collaborative process with company during development stage, it's always a back and forth discussion, and it's always compromise. Right? This is something that we also, as designers, we have to work with. It's like we have to work together for a solution, not that the designer impose 100% of what he wants, or vice versa. So in the end, the conversation after the end of the conversation between two people, we should end up in a stage that is better than the initial stage. And there's always trade-offs to be done. Definitely, I think this is kind of the question. It's a communication, it's a conversation, it's a compromise in the process. So we might win in some aspect by agreeing to lose in some aspect. But if a good step is taken somewhere, then it's a win. We have to accept the wins where we can get it.
Yeah, I think another question by the end is about the cost efficiency. In manufacturing, they were very cost conscious, right? So in adding any element on sustainability, would it always put an extra cost?
I think we have to see it as holistically at the big picture, because you might need to maybe use a recycled plastic that maybe it costs a bit higher, for example, than regular plastic. But you cannot only look at single touch points. I think we have to see the big picture that, okay, we can agree to increase it if we decrease here. So this is why I mentioned, or even the part of the Danish DNA keyword is the holistic. It's like we cannot just look at single aspect, because part of it is optimizing, like you mentioned. So it's okay to work with things that are cheap and cost effective. Even that can be designed. What I'm saying is that design doesn't mean adding more things or adding more cost or adding more decoration. This means that okay, I have to work with this material that is cheap and cost efficient. Can it be even more cost efficient, or how do we integrate this in the design? That's part of the process that people need to understand. It's not just about putting more cost and being more aesthetics. It's that how to optimize the products, both functional, aesthetics, production cost wise. I think,
or even if necessary, we have to go back, trace back beyond the current supply chain, look at the entire ecosystem? Is that always be the case?
Yeah. I think for the cost analysis, I think you have to just to step back and see the big
The
picture.
bigger picture. Okay.
Okay, we have only these questions, or if
I
have
have
some
last
more.
question.
okay,
I knew
okay.
it.
I have last question. Because nowadays they talk a lot about soft power. Would Thailand, if they really wanna go further or beyond whatever the economics could drive us, then what could be like the element of factors or the driver of soft power, or how can we harvest from whatever Thailand has, Thailandness? So if you are to be promote Thailandness, sorry, is it too?
Thainess, you mean Thainess?
Thainess,
Yeah.
Thainess, okay, Thainess. Then how, or what you think, adopting the branding and a brand strategy. Is there anything you think we could do?
Well, yeah, of course, for sure. And like I mentioned, there's a lot of good stories and good people, and yeah, I mean, and Thainess, I often say to people, it's not just about printing what bเคลon the product. this is Thainess is something else than that. So yeah, there's an approach to craftsmanship, to caring, to servicing, to fun, to exciting.
So we have to develop the brand value first, huh?
Yeah. I think if you have to settle the brand value, that would help you clarify how should I be communicating outside. But yeah, if I have to put it this way, the Thainess is not only it can be like behaviors, and a lot of it in Thainess is the behavior. It's like being considerate, helping, willing to help people, being caring. So it's not just about something that is visible. As many of it, I think, is intangible in the case of Thainess. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, right
I
now,
think that's about it.
not any question, right? So we are going to close the section for today. Thank you for your sharing, and Mr. Sébastien Maleville and Dr. Thanita to be here for today. And then we will receive a lot of information, right? And how do you feel it's useful? Yes. Okay. And then if you would like to contact Mr. Sébastien, please show. Yes, you can contact him directly too.
Yeah, this is not my number, but this is Patty, who is right here.
Yeah.
So if, you can talk to her if people are more comfortable in Thai, because my Thai is just still,
Well, you can try. Yes. Okay. Please give a big applause for our
Thank you.
two experts for today.
Thank you.
And then thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
ค่ะ
Thank you.
ค่ะเพื่อเป็นการพัฒนาของสถาบันเพิ่มผลผลิตแห่งชาตินะคะก็ขอบคุณทุกท่านนะคะที่มาในวันนี้ทีนี้ทางเราค่ะจะขอรบกวนทุกท่านนะคะช่วยทำแบบประเมินความพึงพอใจเพื่อปรับนะคะวิธีการทำงานหรืออะไรที่เราอาจจะต้องมีการปรับปรุงไปเรื่อยๆนะคะเพื่อการสร้างผลิตภาพขององค์กรของเราเองเช่นเดียวกันค่ะค่ะในลำดับถัดไปนะคะในรายการ GSPN อัปเดตของเรานะคะก็จะมี Open Chat นะคะเป็นคอมมูนิตี้ให้กับทุกท่านนะคะที่อยากจะอัปเดตเรื่องใหม่ๆหรือว่าอยากจะทราบเทรนด์ใหม่ๆอยากให้เราจัดเซกชันในหัวข้ออะไรทางท่านก็สามารถที่จะใส่ไอเดียลงมาได้เลยนะคะก็คือถ้าเกิดว่าท่านอยากจะเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของคอมมูนิตี้ GSPN อัปเดตนะคะก็สแกน QR Code นี้ได้เลยค่ะค ค่ะแล้วก็ในลำดับถัดไปนะคะถ้าเกิดว่าท่านอยากจะอัปเดตข้อมูลที่เกี่ยวข้องกับสถาบันเพิ่มผลผลิตแห่งชาตินะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นเซอร์วิสหรือข่าวสารหรืออาร์ติเคิลต่างๆนะคะข้อมูลต่างๆที่เกี่ยวกับผลิตภาพนะคะการปรับปรุงด้านผลิตภาพนะคะท่านก็สามารถที่จะ follow channel ของเราได้เลยค่ะมีทั้ง Line Facebook YouTube IG Twitter และก็ Official Website ค่ะYes. Oh, sorry. Right now they changed to X, not Twitter at all. Sorry. ค่ะแล้วก็ในลำดับสุดท้ายนะคะดิฉันขออนุญาตประชาสัมพันธ์ถึงหลักสูตรนะคะเป็น Micro PhD Program in Innovative Healthcare Business นะคะเป็นหลักสูตรประกาศนียบัตร2สถาบันนะคะเป็นการร่วมมือกันระหว่างสถาบันเพิ่มผลผลิตแห่งชาติและมหาวิทยาลัยมหิดลนะคะเป็นหลักสูตรที่ช่วยผลักดันบ่มเพาะเจ้าของธุรกิจหรือบุคลากรในองค์กรที่มีโครงการหรือผลงานวิจัยเกี่ยวข้องกับด้านสุขภาพและเครื่องมือทางการแพทย์นะคะสู่รูปแบบเชิงพาณิชย์หรือธุรกิจนะคะถ้าเกิดว่าท่านอยากทราบข้อมูลเพิ่มเติมสามารถสแกนแล้วก็สามารถเข้าสู่เว็บไซต์เราได้เลยค่ะแล้วก็ขอบคุณมากๆเลยนะคะวันนี้ที่ทุกท่านสละเวลามานั่งฟังนะคะข้อมูลต่างๆที่เกี่ยวข้องกับ Sustainable แล้วก็ขอบคุณ Mr. Sébastien again and ดร.ฐานิตาค่ะขอบพระคุณมากค่ะเดินทางโดยสวัสดิภาพนะคะสวัสดีค่ะ